What? Did you just choke me?
I felt like something just choked me.
Walk over to that box and tell me what your name is.
What? Did you hear like footsteps like on the other side of this wall?
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Did you see?
Yeah, I just saw something move.
Like,
Did you get something?
dude.
Oh no.
Welcome to another Unexplained Cases Live. We got a special one tonight. Hey everybody, Rick Garner, your executive producer here, along with Darren Dito, our host and reporter, Maryam the medium, and our special guest, Patrick from the Haunted Sign. What's up, dude?
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen?
All right. Dude,
living the dream, man.
Yeah, we have been chatting for a while on the social interwebs there, and been following your wild and zany ride. And my goodness, you've gotten yourself into a whole bunch of fun stuff. And I'll let Darren chat with you about that, because looking forward to hearing about everything.
Yeah, that was a hell of an intro. I was just curious, has that been several years? Some of those places that you've investigated?
It's a little over a year.
Really?
Honestly, yeah, it was about, I think it was a year in February. So, a year in a few months now.
Wow. I know it's the stock standard question. What got you into the paranormal? But you grew up in Texas, and we were talking about it before we got on air. You were 8 years old. Just let the viewers know what the heck happened to you when you were growing up.
So my parents moved us from Dallas to a little town called Josephine, Texas. That was it's about an hour outside of Dallas. We move into this house, and it's funny because, retrospect is 2020, right? And thinking about it now, it looked like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. You know what I mean? 8-year-old me didn't make that correlation. But now I look back and I'm like, oh my God, why did we even move there? But literally as we're moving stuff in, like day of, my mom finds some like satanic altar looking things in the attic, in the basement, in a barn that was on the property, just a ton of stuff. Come to find out later on, we only lived there for about 3 months before it just got too much to handle. But afterwards, actually, my parents did some research and found out that it was actually used as a satanic church. So there was a congregation of Satan that had used that house back in, I think it was the 60s, is what we were told. So that realtor, not a good friend anymore. No,
No, I can imagine. Yeah, if it was today's day and age, a hell of a Trulia listing or something, they'd be, great yard. Look out for the pentagrams. It comes with the house.
Totally not haunted.
Right, exactly. So you're 8 years old. You get into your teen years. Did you get an interest in ghost hunting as you got older?
Absolutely, 100%. So I had an experience living in that house where I felt something sit on my bed, and I have 2 brothers, so I just wake up and I'm like, assume it's them, and I open my eyes, and there's this like dark shadow, like darker than dark shadow, sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall. So it's not one of my brothers. It's just this figure. And so 8-year-old me, obviously, like I was saying, it was not as well equipped as I am now. So I was just kind of like, oh my God, just bolted out of the room. But ever since that moment, it was like, what was that? And I want to see it again, or I want to now document that and show other people that whatever this is, whether you believe in angels and demons or just negative energy, positive energy, whatever it is, it's something. It is there. It is real. And hey, here I am, all these years later, still chasing it.
Still chasing ghosts. Haunted Side, fantastic. Congratulations on that. Great show. What's the idea behind it? There's so many of these on YouTube and cable channels and things like that. Were you trying to do something maybe a little bit different than the other folks that are out there?
Definitely. I kind of, I took pieces because obviously I grew up watching, Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, and I grew up watching all this stuff. It's funny. I didn't really watch too many like YouTube videos. Like YouTube is like a very new thing in my life.
Right.
Ironically, and it's been such a monumental thing for the haunted side. But I grew up watching these shows, and then I showed a friend some of the stuff because I had always filmed and I had always when I was doing the investigations just for myself, I was filming this stuff, and I was showing a buddy, and he goes, "This is really good." And I was like, "You think so?" And he goes, "You should actually like cut this together and start a little YouTube channel or something like that." Or he's like, or hell, pitch it to a network because this is better than the stuff that I see on television even. And I was just kind of in that. Oh, really? Okay, yeah. I just decided to do it, and I mean, like I was saying, it's been a little over a year now, and I mean, we're very close to almost 100,000 subscribers now on YouTube. It's unbelievable, unreal.
And you had mentioned cable or network, like you had some interest, from what I understand, that somebody really liked what you were doing, but you didn't go with them. What was the reason why you didn't go to that next step as far as investigating?
So yeah, it's funny. We actually had several offers from just about every cable network that shows paranormal stuff on there. They all came with multiple offers, and I turned every single one of them down because they didn't want to let me retain creative control.
Right.
Obviously, you get to that point, you become a network worker, so to speak,
Mhm.
and it's ratings. You know what I mean? Here's
Oh, yeah.
$50,000. Go make an episode and make sure 5 million people watch it when it airs, kind of thing.
Right.
And even though that would have been the quote unquote easy way out, right? To be like, okay, cool, let me go cash
Right.
that check and we're off to the races, guys. That was never the reason, and never will be the reason that I do this stuff.
Right.
It's funny, we are getting more success with the haunted side, but everything that comes in goes right back out, in gear and production and camera. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Oh, yeah.
we get these fans that will sign up for Patreon or become a member of the YouTube channel, and it helps us so much because, as you guys know, this stuff isn't cheap.
No.
And typically, 99% of groups, they'll never make $1 doing this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So I find us very, very blessed, very, very lucky that we've managed to build this community of people that just, they were, I think there was a hole in the paranormal world that needed to be filled because people were looking for just like the genuine paranormal investigation, not, 2 hours of history, but a little bit of history, a little bit of like, check this place out, this is what we know, now let's go find some ghosts, or let's go and see what kind of stuff we can document. And it's been amazing, unbelievable.
That's what I was going to say. I really like the fact that it's just a conversation you're having, with your subscribers, your viewers, and you work with a cameraman. It's just the two of you guys going into a location, and just kind of telling the story and experiencing things. I just found it was great. You don't have the trucks of equipment and people coming in there. It's just really kind of being real, which is what the paranormal community is all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's funny because Jason, the cameraman now, he wasn't the original cameraman. Even in some of the clips that you guys are showing in that intro, that was the cameraman I brought in first. Because the initial, like the first season, I had done, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes by myself where I was just out there with a camera, like, hello, anybody there? Right. And then I got invited to film at the Winchester Mystery House.
Oh, cool.
And I said, so I was like, if I'm going to do a place that big, I want to have somebody with me. And so I reached out to a friend. Ironically, he did wedding photography and wedding videos.
Oh, funny.
And I told him, I was like, hey man, how would you feel about going over to San Jose with me and doing a paranormal investigation and filming it? Luckily, he had a background in documentary filmmaking, so he was fantastic. But it's funny, he didn't last very long.
Really?
I
Got freaked out?
Yeah, I think it was only about 6 or 7 episodes before, because we had a pretty long talk before he started, and he raised the same questions. Is this safe? Can I get hurt? What's going on here? And I
Right.
told him, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you can get hurt. I mean, that's the crazy thing about the metaphysical and the paranormal is there are no experts. Nobody really knows for sure. There's no concrete 100% certainty with any of it. So it's possible. And he did the whole like, okay, yeah, all right, let's
I'm going
do it.
back
Why
to
not?
weddings. You're on your own.
Yeah. He's like, really? I'm just gonna go back to the I do's. That's.
Right.
But it's funny because we went out to Eureka, and we were supposed to film at like three or four locations. The first time we went out to Eureka, Nevada, and we filmed one at the Eureka Opera House. And it was so terrifying for him because doors were slamming in his face. We had like a pretty heavy duty tripod, which it's a tripod. They don't fall over. That's why we use tripods.
3 legs. Yeah.
Yeah. It got lifted and like tossed at him. And so he we sat down and talked for like 6 hours, and he was like, I need to go home, man. I can't do this anymore. And so
game over. I'm out. Good luck. Find somebody else. Well, I caught your 2-part thing on the Cleanwater Demon House. What? Just let folks know what is the Demon House? What's the story behind it, and why is it so haunted?
So it's funny because I was doing some research and scouting for locations out here, and I came across just a random YouTube video. I think it had like 16 views on it. But there was about a dozen people or so that were out there walking around that property. And, they were saying that, there was occult activity. They were showing these symbols that were written around all over the house. And there were rumors to be like, I think it was like 12 people that had got murdered at some point, which is why that property and that building and the house and everything is all kind of in disarray.
Right.
And classic me, I'm looking at it going, okay, so let's find it. I need to make sure that we can get out there, let's get this going. And so we went out there, and I say it even in the episode that we filmed, and I don't think I've ever said it, but I said, I'm actually scared. And Jason,
Really?
Yeah, Jason was the new cameraman. He started in the second season, episode 1 of the second season. So he had only done about the same number of investigations as Sean, the previous cameraman.
Uh-huh.
And so in my head, I'm like, oh, great, here we go. I'm going to lose another one because I'm sitting here saying that I don't feel comfortable. I wonder what he's back there thinking right now, And I go, probably shouldn't have said that, try and laugh it off. But man, that house is no joke. Whatever is in there is very, very active. Poltergeist, EVPs. It's just, there's something there.
Yeah, your facial expressions was the one thing when those incidents were happening that I could tell that you were scared. You put yourself in the moment. As compared to a lot of the other places that you've investigated, I know you've been to Waverly and what Bobby Mackey's and some other locations around the country. Yep. Where does the Demon House rank up there?
Top 3. I mean, honestly, if it is, if Waverly is, more active or more scary to me, it's by a hair.
Really?
Maybe just because of the sheer size of Waverly Hills. Because I've actually done Waverly twice, and both times I was alone. So I was locked in there all night by myself.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Which is just terrifying in and of itself.
Right.
But as far as the energy goes and just getting those vibes, Cleanwater Demon House totally on that level, if not more, to be completely honest. It's crazy out there.
And I see we're getting ready for the Brady Bunch boxes here, so we're going to transition to the remote viewing.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to accomplish when we do our reading tonight? Or some questions that you have? What would you like to learn after we're done this evening?
Funny enough, this would be my first ever like remote viewing that I've been a part of or witnessed or anything. So more than anything, I'm super excited just to be a part of it, to see what happens, to kind of see what we can get out of that place. Because, like I said, I've gone there 5 or 6 times total,
Oh, wow.
and I feel like every time it's like a whole new level, a whole new chapter of that place that we didn't see or didn't experience the first time. So doing something like this, who knows what can come through or what can open or whatever. So I'm just excited. Get
All
the
right.
candy store.
Yes.
All right, cool.
All of these have been intense and interesting. I also wanted to, before we slide over into that, give some shout outs to Shellbell and Cassie. This is where it's romper room, is where I need to have my my little magnifying, my mirror actually. Shellbell, Kristen, who else we got in here? Irene from Japan. Welcome.
Oh, awesome.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Nice.
we got Linda. Actually, Kristen had a quick question for you, Patrick, referring to the house out in Texas.
Yeah, I have been like searching and searching because I had kept up with it for many, many, many years. But in the past like 3 years, I can't find it. Like I think honestly, because I'll even like Google Street View down the road to find it, and it
Yeah.
looks it as bad as it sounds. I think it got torn down. I
Oh, they
honestly think
leveled
it
it.
did. I think they did, and then built another house on top of it.
Gotcha.
Oh, sounds like
Should've
Poltergeist
done
the
that.
movie. Yeah, I'm sure it's great.
Yeah.
Right? Welcome.
And that
Scott.
house is for sale too. No I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'll make you a heck of a deal.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Compare the
exactly.
closing costs.
Exactly. Sky, welcome. Let's see who else we got here. We got Brad and Mitzi and Roz. Actually, Roz was saying, "Hey, Patrick." So
Hello,
shout out
hello. A
to
lot
you
of
there.
familiar names. Good to see you guys.
You
Appreciate
know,
you.
Crow of Judas.
Crow of Judas in the house.
Right? Yeah. See, we got Frank and Nikki. So just a whole bunch of folks who are taking advantage of
Love it.
catching this and getting on ready for the ride. So, Miriam, I will pass the baton to you now.
All right. So this energy actually came and visited me prior a couple days ago. So it's going to be easy to get in there and speak. I'm also being told at some point there's going to need to be discussion, Patrick, on kind of why you got it. Not Spirit's wanting me to talk to you about why you got into this and your intentions with it. And I know that you spoke to it already a little bit. So as I'm not getting a lot of clarity, so I'm going to wait and dig a little deeper and see where we land with it.
Sure.
But okay, so Darren, if you want to, was there anything you wanted to speak to before I started?
Well, how about, I mean, there was so much evidence that was gathered, but the one thing that really stood out to me, and it was twice, was this shadow figure that when they were there, they didn't see it. I think it was right there. I think it's right in that window that after they reviewed the evidence, they saw this. I mean, it was scary as hell. I mean, I would freak out if I would
Yeah.
saw it. What is that? Are you
Okay.
picking up on any who this person is
Yeah,
and if they're good or
so
bad?
Yeah, so that's the presence that came through my home the other day. He's real. It feels like a masculine energy, but of course, it can go either way. But so first, I just want to. I need to kind of set some boundaries with him because he's really intense. He's really intrusive. He has a lot of dominant characteristics. He is so when he first came through my space, he did it to scare some of my animals, and then when I stepped in, it took me a minute to kind of get him to leave. He wasn't responsive right away. He wasn't supportive, if you will. And so here we are. I'm not allowing you in my space. I'm allowing you to speak. I'm not allowing you to speak through me. I'm not allowing you to come into my home, but you're welcome to speak from where you're at. Patrick, he has a direct affiliation to you. This is actually a being that has been there waiting for you. Hang on before you freak out. I'll work all this out. Don't worry. He came from your Texas home. He actually didn't reside there. This is not someone that was killed there. This is not someone that has affiliation to that space. He has followed you. So why are you following him? Wow, okay, so he's followed you there. So in time is, let's think past the boundaries of time for a moment. So it's not like, well, he had to be there first and then Patrick went, and then no, he knew Patrick was going to end up there, and that's why he went there. He also went there. This is actually the same figure that sat on your bed. This has been with you so I want to talk a little bit about, because I'm hesitant to say some things because there's a lot of, with every human, spiritual attachments are different. Okay. There isn't one way that a spirit attaches. There isn't one way that these spirits or attachments work. Okay. So I'm speaking specifically to Patrick and this being. This is not going to, there isn't one way when it comes to demonic energy or dark energy. There isn't one way. I stress that because I don't want someone taking this information and saying, oh, well, she said they work this way. No, this being works this way because of its karma and its past and its relationship with Patrick. Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we started, so I'm speaking as him right now, okay? He's saying we started way back when you were a child. I didn't start out dark and demonic. I didn't start out scary. I was simply a wounded man, a wounded soldier that had been at war with you many lifetimes and was simply coming back to revisit. The problem was, as I started to walk through these lifetimes, my energy started to pick up darker and darker and darker forces. And I just gravitated towards that. And I started to build this dark gravitational force around me. And then people just started to respond out of fear. It's very similar to like the, what's that snowman? Big scary creature, but he's really not scary. He looks
sort of like, not a Yeti, but you mean talking about, I don't know, Frosty?
Oh, the abominable snowman.
Thank you. That's the one. That's the one. Yes, not Frosty. So big and big. They look big and scary, but actually they're really soft inside. And I don't mean to burst everyone's bubble. So this being is light and dark. He has the capacity to be very dangerous and very difficult and very scary. And when he came through my space, that's how he came through. And once he realized he couldn't stay in my space, he left. But he has the capability to haunt. He has the capability to hurt and to scare and to harm. He understands he has both. But his relationship with Patrick isn't about that. His relationship with Patrick is to help Patrick speak to this truth that lives out there. It's also to help Patrick go deeper than what you do now. So the work you do now is important, but you're being asked to go deeper with it.
Darren, if I could just step in real quick. So when he investigates a lot of other places, is this entity or whatever it is with him when he goes to other locations?
He's always with him, but he is not engaging in any of the haunting or experiences that you encounter, Patrick. He's actually next to you and actually works as a protector for you. For TV terms, he's good and evil. You know, he's both. For
both angels.
Yes. So because you have this lifelong connection, this brotherhood, this brother you were brothers, and then you were best friends, and then you were brothers, and then you were best friends, and so you have this long history together. He has chosen to stay with you. He's struggling with understanding how to come back through into body. He's a little stuck. That's not something that I am supposed to work out for him. That's something that you and he will work out, and you will know when he moves on. But for now, here he is, and he wants to help bring you to these locations and to bring these energies out so that you can share the stories. But then he wants you to take these stories to another level, to a deeper place. And again, that isn't necessarily for me to decide for you right now. That's something for you to determine later, or we can talk about that off camera. So
Wow.
what's fascinating is, as we do these remote viewings, there's always this sense of, oh man, this is going to be dark, this is going to get ugly, this is going to be this. And then it turns into something very different. And the reason for that is, society, he's saying that society is obsessed with darkness, and sometimes that's the only way I can be heard. He's saying, he's saying that sometimes people will only respond to him if he's scary. He doesn't understand why people don't respond to him with love. And Patrick, that's going to be something that you're going to want to do. It's actually really hurting my heart. I can feel his sadness and his pain, and it's really heavy. And he's really just wanting love. And that's going to help him pass over one day when that time is right. But in the meantime, he wants to be there with you. So, I'm going to ask him, since he has stepped out of his dark side, to honor me and speak to me so that I can speak for him. We can now ask him to join us, and we can walk through the house and see what else we have going on there. And I will ask him to actually be my protector. I will ask him to join me on this side of light. I want you to feel what this feels like and experience what this feels like to be on this side. It's a whole different experience for you.
So
here we go.
is there other people in there with him? Because there was a lot of other activity, like poltergeist activity. That wasn't him, that's somebody else?
No, that's not him. Now, I'm not saying that's not him with other people, because he does have this kind of love-hate with humans that he's trying to work out. I'm not saying it's funny. It's not funny, but he and I are kind of laughing, because he's like, listen, I've done my share of hauntings. I've scared a lot of people. I understand. We've all done things we regret. But that's not something I have done to Patrick other than to get his attention. And like I said, when he's, if you see me, I'm shaking a little bit from the cold that's coming from him and coming from this home. But he says it's really important that Patrick understands that he would never hurt him. But I feel Patrick feels you. He hears you. He goes, you're okay. So you want to walk us through what's there, and I'm going to kind of like use you. I'm going to kind of hide behind him because this house is pretty creepy, and let him kind of walk us through what's going on. He's really sweet. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing now to him just because you came off dark. Okay. To be fair, you come off pretty scary. So I apologize for not reading you correctly, but to be fair, you came in pretty heavy. Okay. So, all right. So as we're going to go through, there's a staircase there. Someone actually died on that staircase, which is why there's a staircase there? Yeah, I'm not looking at the photos right now.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, there's somebody in particular that was killed and like hasn't left that spot. I'm sorry, I have to stretch out my legs really quick. This is intense. Hasn't left that spot. Okay, so he's of Asian descent. He's not really sure how he ended up in oh God. So he's saying, yeah, I know how I ended up here. I was kidnapping. Okay. So that's heavy. I'm referring to your entity as John, but I feel like I kind of gravitate towards that name whenever I have masculine energy around. I'm not necessarily saying that's his name, but I'm just kind of referring to John just so we have a reference point. John, you're in between us. Talk to me about what's going on here with this guy. He's saying he doesn't want anyone's help. He's so angry at what's happened and how he ended up there that he just wants to get even. That's where a lot of this poltergeist type behavior is coming from this gentleman on the staircase. He's saying he was stabbed. He's saying it was multiple times. He won't take any responsibility, though, and my guys are saying that he had some responsibility on ending up there. John, do you want to reach out to him? He says you can't reach out to him. So he's okay. He's not, he's not someone you can console. He's not someone that you can help. Okay. Yeah, he's threatening us if we don't leave. But here's the awesome thing. I'm standing behind John, so I'm like, he can't really get me, so he can threaten all he wants. Okay, so you tell me where you want to go next. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, let me ask you about the stair thing, because they had a couple incidents happen where somebody threw a rock at him. Is this the Asian gentleman that didn't want them on the stairs and I guess threw the rock at him?
Yes, he's taking full responsibility for that, but I would be cautious with his taking responsibility, because he's right now just wanting to be responsible for anything painful because of how he died and what he experienced.
Gotcha.
There's another room is there like a room to the left of the staircase? Come down it to the left over here. There's a female there, and she's these guys all live together. These guys all, like, they're not one big happy family, I'll tell you that much, but they all reside together and they all just kind of stay in their places. What's going on with you though, John? And why don't you reach out to her? She's really hurting. She doesn't want to be here. Do you feel that she doesn't want to be there? Yeah, why don't you talk to her? She's not acknowledging you. Okay, so why don't you step to the side and then I'll come over and talk to her. She may not be, she's seeing you as dark. She's not seeing you as light. That's all. Susan, what's going on? What happened? I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. All right, so what do you want to do to move through this? How'd you end up here? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that I died here. I don't know how I ended up here. I died in the back of a car, and then I ended up here, and I don't know how. You gravitated towards darker energy your whole life, though, didn't you? Yeah. That's how you followed darkness, and it brought you here, right? She doesn't want to be here anymore. So, John, I'm going to have you watch as we help her pass over. I'm going to have you experience light, feel that light, and I want you to help, okay? So you okay, he's not ready to help. He's just going to watch, okay? So Susan, I want you to take my hand, okay? We're going to help you pass over, okay? She's asking for her mom. She's a grown woman, though, but she's still asking for her mom. Your grandma's here, but I'm not seeing your mom. Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna ask you to reach out. She's in a ball. She's so spooked. So okay. So there was so much darkness in her human existence. She died in the back of a car. Not sure if that was murder or if that was car crash. I can't really tell. But then she gravitated toward this space, and she's just been in the corner like this, and she's just like all this chaos around her, all these energies just causing all this shit. And whenever humans would come in, they would just get louder. These guys that haunt, they know what they're doing, and they wait for people to come in. So she's just been like in a ball over here, like I can't do this. I don't want to be a part of this. So I'm trying to open her up and pull her out. John, I want you to go behind her and just kind of pull her shoulders back. Her grandmother's here, but she's not looking. So this might take me a minute. I won't. I kind of want to. I don't want to leave her here. She's not ready though. She's not opening up. So I'm going to ask this. I'm going to go look around, and John, you're going to stay with her so that nothing hurts her, because she's been hurt here. Her spirit just keeps getting her ass kicked here. I'm going to go look around and see if you can help her be ready to open up and ready to see her grandmother's here. And she's just waiting. Okay. So it's just a matter of that reach. Okay. So moving through the home, is there a specific room, Patrick, or space in it you want me to go to?
I definitely had a lot of feelings in that the upstairs room. There's 2 rooms there, and it's the room to the right.
Yeah.
There was definitely some negative kind of feelings up there.
2 little kids in that room. There must have been, there's again, this is another kidnapping situation. And the first gentleman was definitely a kidnap. They're saying kidnap, but I'm feeling like it could have been more of just a really, I don't know if you guys were kidnapped as much as you were just your parents were incredibly abusive and like locked you in this room.
You know what's really amazing about that?
What?
We noticed it after maybe 3rd or 4th time we were out there. There were like lock hinges on the outside of that door where it looked like the door was shut and it was latched and locked from the outside.
So they're referencing kidnapping because that's how it felt, right? Okay. So there's so much energy in this home. I don't know if we can manage all of it tonight. These 2, so just so Patrick and your viewers know, I always gravitate towards light first, and then sometimes I have to like force myself to move to darkness. That's just my training. But and so let me really quickly see what these kids need. So I know you guys want me to talk to the guys that are causing all the problems, and I'll get there after these 2. What do we need to do to help you? Hold on. Oh my God, I'm juggling a lot here. Hold on. John just said that she's ready to move. Who's Shelly? So Shelly's here, he says. So Susan's ready to go. I gotta hang on. This is okay. So very nice work. See? Oh, you guys, I'm gonna look crazy. I know when this is done. It's all right. I still got to do it. So John did it. He connected the 2. Yes, you can let her go. Let her go. Let her go. See, you said you weren't ready, and you were ready. Look what you did.
Is that Susan that he let go?
Mm-hmm. He brought her towards Shelly. I'm being told Shelly, and Shelly was grandma, and that's where they went. He did it. You did it all by yourself. He's like a little kid in a big scary body. Okay, come with me now. We got to go back to these kids. All right. These kids are still like, they're too scared to come out. So John, I'll put you with them since you did such a good job before. You stay with them and let's go through the space. So I'm going to just call out these guys that do the hauntings. They know that when I come through, they can't scare me. So it's kind of like, what are we going to talk about? So who else is here that's this other guy's just like, I'm here, I'm doing it. All right. So you're causing all of the poltergeists. This guy on the stairs is causing it. Who else is here doing it? There's a couple other, 2 other, so 2, 4. There's 4 of you. He said there's usually 6. Now I'm not counting Susan that's gone and the 2 that were stuck. He says, no, there's usually 6 of us. Where's the other 2? Who's missing? Yeah, they come and go. Okay. How many of you guys are actually from this location? Susan ended up here, but we're not thinking she actually, like, who was in it. Did any of you actually, like, some of us, okay? I can feel all of you. None of you guys care about moving on. None of you guys care about the other side. None of you care about light, right? You just, yeah. These are just, dark forces. Some of you are a little borderline demonic forces that are here to stay, and they're going to continue to just kind of wreak havoc on this house. And they're saying, yeah, even if they tear this house down, the same problem will still exist. We will still live here and wreak havoc. Okay, so that's just your thing, your choice. It's free will. Spirit world has free will. These guys are welcome to do that. I cannot force them out unless I have higher beings that come in and demand that they'll be moved out. But they're saying there's no reason they can live there. That's fine. So come one and come all. Whoever wants to go to that house, they will give you quite a show. That's
so
what
were these people murdered, or their connection to the house? Did they meet a violent end?
It's fascinating because, the guy on the stairs did. The one I'm talking to did, but these other ones didn't. They just kind of congregate. They find each other, and they just kind of all hang. Violent end for this guy, totally, like he's saying, totally was just part of drugs. Okay. Drug cartel specifically, and just got shot at, just was killed. Like, he's so flippant about just being murdered. He's like, yeah, I was murdered. It's like, whatever. Like, he's been through so many lifetimes of such heavy darkness that being murdered is just not a big deal to him. It's not a thing. He ran with the group that deals in drugs and doesn't care. Not a thing for him. Were you killed? I was killed on this property. Yes. This property is actually mine. He's claimed it, which is not uncommon. We see that a lot. He's claimed this property, and then he has his little group of people underneath him. Some have, like the one gentleman on the stairs, yes, died there. The other ones came from other locations. But Susan and these two kids specifically were from there. These two kids, I think we should go back. Right now, John's just kind of sitting in front of them, but we're not making any progress with them.
How old do you think they are?
5 and 7.
Okay.
10. They do this to me with ages. I sometimes get all over the map. They're communicating to like a 10-year-old, like they're speaking well and clear, but their bodies and physical feel like 5 and 7-year-olds, young. So here's John said, here's the problem. They don't have anyone on the other side waiting for them. Their parents put them here, so as children, they're looking for guidance. Okay, it's a good call. So I'm going to call in Olivia. She's incredibly maternal. She's going to come in and join them, and she's going to sit with them, and she's going to bring you to the other side. Olivia, I'm going to call you in. I have you sit there for a bit with them and with John, and I have you bring them to the other side. They're ready. They just don't know how, and they don't have. There's never been love in their life, so they don't know love. They don't know light. Now they do. So we've got Olivia there. We have John there, and John's expressing some of his darkness because it's actually bringing them some peace because that's familiar to them. But he's showing them kind of this darkness without the violence attached. And then Olivia is coming in, and she's got light that she's got behind him. It's a really beautiful. Okay, so where else do we want to go? What else? Questions? What else? Because I could stay here and work with these guys forever, yeah?
Hey, there was a couple of incidents that happened. One where the bike was knocked over, and then when a beam was knocked over. Were they trying to get Patrick's attention, or were they trying to harm him? What was the idea behind? I mean, I know we keep talking about poltergeist activity, but what were they trying to do? Get his attention or scare him?
Hurt him. Those energies. When I said earlier, "Come one, come all, we're here." You know, understand they're there to hurt. They're really, really dark. They're there to hurt. Yeah, they'll scare you if you get hurt in the process. They don't care. There's it's really bad in that space. They're there to hurt. The reason why Patrick doesn't get hurt is because John follows them around.
There was somebody that tried to make a connection with him when he had his headset on. He was doing a spirit box session where this individual or whatever it was did hurt Patrick, and maybe he would want to talk about that. But who was that tried to startle him or harm him? Somebody hit him from behind.
This gentleman it's a female and a male. There's two of them working together. It's just random, like, meaning they don't have a rhyme or reason other than they're dark energies, and that's what they want to do, is hurt and harm. That's what they do. There isn't a specific reason for why Patrick, it's whoever is getting in there and close, getting really close, and also who has the intuitive sense to them is going to make these guys come at him stronger. But also because they have this John there's also like this sense of almost battle, if you will, like, back off. What are you doing? Like, this is our territory. This dude came into our space. You get out of here. This is what they're saying to John, right? But John won't. But they're just territorial jerks. I mean, they're just assholes, and you walk into their space and they're going to do what you would think they would do. And that's what they're there to do. Now, it's important, John's stressing, it's important, Patrick, that John is there to help, but he's not, he can't stop everything. So don't push your luck just because you have him there.
Mm-hmm.
Can any of these bad energies, can they follow people home if they investigate there? Can they leave that house, or are they trapped there?
Yeah, they can leave, and they have left, and they'll do it again. Yes. They don't attach because they like their space. That's like, they'll leave with someone and mess with them for a bit, and then they'll come back. They don't attach. These ones don't attach.
I was gonna say, I did notice too when I was out there that animals act really weird around that house. Like, they just do really bizarre things that I've never seen happen at other locations. Is that something that is an effect of whatever this is?
Yeah, give me an example.
A goose flew into our drone and killed itself.
Oh, wow.
Destroyed the drone and killed itself. There's probably at one point or another, even other investigators that have gone there have seen deer kind of like come up to the house but not get really close, and they just kind of follow around. So if you're in one room, they will just be outside of that room. You move to another room, they'll be outside of that room.
Okay,
just weird
hang
congregations of stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. So there is a force field around the space that has accumulated over time, and it's like all these energies kind of building and building and building, and they create like this force field around the home that is very detrimental, and that certain energies, certain animals have the instinct to kind of move with it, and certain animals don't and will just get caught in it and unfortunately will does kill them. This is why even if you tear down the home, there's this force field that still surrounds it. What's the reason why John can go in and out of it like that is because he's light and dark. And so he can enter and leave and enter and leave. Now, for the most part, animals know to not go near it. There are, hold on, why are some drawn into it though? There's some that are drawn into it, and I don't understand why. Why are they drawn in? Why are these innocent beings drawn in? It's lack of awareness. It's being caught off guard. And then deers because they're saying because deers are already inherently, is that the word, adapted to danger because of hunters. They have this, the deer follow like they would a hunter. And so that's why they follow these beings, because they see it as danger, just like they do a hunter. And unfortunately, due to hunting, it's just these animals, deer, are born with this sense to seek out danger, the hunter. And that's why the deer gravitates and then follows, versus the bird is like lack of awareness, doesn't see it coming out of the blue. Boom.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Wow.
One other question too about rooms. At the bottom of the staircase to the left, if you're looking at it, there's this little like kind of nook kind of room back there, that when we opened, because that door was like pretty sealed, and we opened that door up and felt like a rush of something, both Jason and myself. What was that? Because it wasn't something, because I've done a lot of these, right? I've done a lot of investigations, and it wasn't like something I had ever felt before. It definitely was like something pretty powerful.
These are energies that haven't been in body in a really long time. These specifically behind this door. And so you can't communicate with them like you could with those that have been in body recently or many times. These energies haven't been in body, and so they're like pieces and pieces and pieces of just energies kind of put together. It's not even, it could be like you all refer to as like disembodied spirits. These just haven't been in body, and they are like aggressive, like they're comparing them to like piranhas. They're aggressive, and they're nasty, and they're sticky. And so when people leave there feeling like they have an attachment, it's actually like it's like honey, but not sweet. They don't stick to you, but particles of their energy will latch on, suction, if you will. And those will and do latch on. Now, it's important to remember that these aren't beings that can be reasoned with. These aren't beings that were in body. So the only way to release it is through, like, you need someone that knows how to do the work. And so it's not anyone that you could communicate with. It's like quicksand. You can't talk to quicksand and tell it to stop doing what it's doing. You have to just remove yourself from the situation, and that's what it is with this energy. What you felt was piranha-like, was very much that.
Yeah, that's probably why, out of all the locations I've been, that was the first time, even during the series, that was the first time where I had said out loud, I'm actually scared right now, because that's what that felt like. It felt like that piranha analogy is like spot on, because it felt like there was just, and I say it in the episode, just things like around, just circling, weird.
Yeah, you're right. And remember, earlier when we talked about you taking this to a deeper level, remember when you're agreeing with me, it's because your intuition, your psychic ability has already told you all of this. There's just a validation that you're not crazy. This is very real. This is what you're experiencing. So another conversation for another time, but yes. So you were right about that. Yeah, I mean, I can like feel them. Okay, what else? Can we go back really quick to the little kids and see how we're doing with Olivia and John? I want you guys to, God, these beings that are stuck there are tough, man. Okay. She says she's got it. She says, John, you can leave. I don't know that they're passing over now, though. She's saying, I need to be here for a minute with them, and we'll see where it lands us. So that's a to be continued.
And that's probably a good point to kind of hit a little bit of a pause since we got about 3 minutes left. I know it goes by so ridiculously fast. I'll let Maryam disconnect there while maybe Patrick, you can ponder how have you enjoyed our ride today and keeping your hands inside the cart hopefully most of the time.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That really was. And it's like you said, the things that you were saying, it was almost like it was like the light bulb just like validating. It was like, yep.
Oh, good.
And I was like, because I remember saying that and I remember feeling that, but then to have you say it and just be like, it's almost like I'm back there. Like I can feel myself back there again. And I'm like reliving that. I'm like, that is exactly what that felt like. That is what that moment was. I'm telling you, that piranha analogy, it was perfect. That's exactly what happened there. Yeah. Very, very cool.
Good. Well, good for you more than anything else to know already all of this and know how to deal with it, because you don't have anything attached to you. So whatever you're doing is working, and you can thank John for that too, or whatever his name is. You may have a different name for him.
Well, and what's unbelievable about that too is that recently I had a very, very close friend talk to me about this exact same male energy that they felt like was with me at all times, but had kind of she was like, I don't want to scare you, but it's like a darker vibe, but then kind of peeling back the layers, it's a very, very, very positive, very good vibe. And nobody knows that. Like that is not something that I have ever shared with anybody apart from her and myself. And again, to have that come just full force, that's pretty incredible.
John's pretty awesome too. I really like him. I don't want to say goodbye to him, but I got it.
And here we were expecting, like we already alluded to, that this was just going to be this intense. And I'm thinking cream puff might actually be appropriate.
He don't ruin his ego, man. He likes being big and scary.
Great. Now of course, I'll be getting a visit tonight. Thanks. That's me and my big mouth.
Hey, so maybe it's called the Demon House, but maybe it's not such a demon house then.
No, that shit's dark. That house is dark. Yeah, it's probably one of the darker places we've gone to.
The label still applies.
Me
right?
too.
Yes.
Hey, Patrick, in the last few seconds, let everybody know how to find you, how to support you. You got the floor.
Absolutely. Search The Haunted Side on pretty much any of the socials that you're on. The main focus obviously is the YouTube channel, growing that content and growing that community. If you're into the paranormal, check it out, because we have done an amazing job, and the people that are in this chat room, even I see so many familiar faces. We've done a really good job of kind of weeding out the stuff that you don't want to be around, the people you don't want to be around, to build the community of just amazing people, genuine people that are really just trying to further the paranormal and further the paranormal science behind it. And we'd love to welcome you into the family.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. And Patrick, hold on for a second. We can talk
Sure.
offline, but Bye, everybody. Thanks so much.